Hello and welcome to my website. I want to take a moment to thank you deeply from my heart because your presence here means that you really care about you moving forward and clear your past wounds, so much so that the future generation will benefit from it. So, thank you. I really recognize your value and your presence here is really important for me, for you, and for your family. So, have you ever felt really stuck? Like you have worked hard, you have tried a lot of methodology, you have been trying to manifest and positive reinforcement, and you have written scripts and posted all over the places, read self-help book and done the job. And yet your dream future seems that it's not really arriving for you. And then you become tired and you feel like it's not for you, and then um, you go on with your business and you do the laundry, you cook, you do your stuff, you work, but then you want to go back and do it some more because maybe you were not doing your work properly. So maybe there is a new teacher, new things, new something new you haven't heard, and then back again with the exhaustion. But the thing is that it's not you. It's not what you are doing or what you are not doing that is leading you and leading your life. Um, we have been inheriting a lot of stories from the past. We have been inheriting um, habits, thoughts, fears, wounds, and those stories are about the thing that you love the most, that you care the most, your health, your wealth, your love, your relationships. So all of these patterns that are hidden away, um, they they are influencing every aspect of your life. And maybe because you have done all that work, you are to a point where you are sensibly okay and you can settle in for that. You can say, well, after all, I have a house. After all, I have some friends. After all, so I've done my work and this is what I got. And that's enough for me. But you're trying to build a house on foundation that are not really strong. And so you have already built the most beautiful, amazing house because you are here standing and you're listening to this presentation. That tells me that your house is already very strong. But your house needs to be constantly kept up because of the foundation are not strong enough. So, why all of this is not working is not because you have done something wrong, but because we haven't been taken as far as we could have been. Is because a lot of methodologies are going to a level that maybe it was okay up until now, but now is not enough. We need to go deeper. We need to go beyond. And um, the root issues are not possibly anchored in this past, in your life past, but probably way beyond that. And I know this because I have been there too. I have been in a situation where I I have been working since the age of 26. So up until the age of 26, I was very much into my subconscious manifestation. And I felt like life was just carrying me around wherever she wanted. And I couldn't cope with it. I was just basically waiting to die. And it's quite harsh to say, but that's what was happening because what I was receiving from the life wasn't what I was putting in. Quite the opposite. thankfully, my family, even though they were carrying a lot of epigenetic trauma, even though they have been doing things that haven't been helping me thriving, but in one way, I knew they were there. And that helped me to completely shift my reality, because even though they didn't know what I was doing, and even though they weren't completely in agreement with me, I knew deep down that they were there. And so um, I took the opportunity to start working on myself. And I met my first spiritual guides. And I did my first training in Ayurvedic massage. And I did my first training in Reiki. And I did my first counseling 3 years course. And I kept on going and going and going. And my life was less and less what I didn't want, and more what I was creating. But even though I did leaps and bounds, inside of me, there was a feeling of deep sense of frustration, of deep sense of anxiety and fear. And fear in me manifests in to-do lists. So the more I'm working, the harder I'm working, the more in fear I am. So don't get me wrong, this fear is getting me very productive. But at the end of the day, I used to suffer of terrible headaches. And I was having the most horrifying premenopausal symptoms. And so something told me that I was really very stuck. And apart from that, when I was trying to shift that, I moved across the world and finally birthed my child. It took me a long time to get to a healthy pregnancy and a healthy birth. And so I finally came into a new land in New Zealand. I came into a new space and I birthed my child. And for quite some times, that was paradise. I was never really joyful, happy. I was constantly quite depressed. But I was in this maternity bubble and my daughter was happy. I was breastfeeding. Everything seems to be fine. My husband was fine. The finances were okay. And so I could relax. But then my daughter became a very bright, talkative, sensitive person. And she started behaving in ways that didn't match with her birth, her breastfeeding, her peaceful environment. She was quite sad. She was quite fearful. She wouldn't dare to do a lot of things that she was capable of. And so I looked at myself and I said, okay, this is not working. And I realized that it was not about her. It was about me and my husband. So basically, I needed to dive deep. I couldn't ruin my life any longer, my husband's life, and my daughter. I couldn't compromise her future because I was still attached to this past. And so I prayed and I connected to my spiritual guides and I said, okay, guys, this is not working. There's something wrong here and I need to dive deep, deeper, deeper, deeper than ever before. And so I signed up for quite a few workshops with beautiful people and I start working with my ancestors. And I went deep, deep down. And I created this beautiful environment in which I would go to school every day. I had my spiritual guides. I had all my techniques that I've learned in 20 years of my life that put together the body, the mind, and the soul. And then I had these ancestors and I started working with them. And all of a sudden, at a certain point, my core wounds became my biggest gift. Their wounds became my bigger gifts. And from the most impossible and imaginable past that I have had to go through, I mean, all of my grandparents were in the World War II. And, I'm not gonna go there, but a lot of pattern that my parents have shown me, they just came down, floating down from that period. And that was influencing my relationships, my health, my wealth, everything, even the weather. And when I started working with them and my guides and my body and my friends, everything shifted. And I realized that that was the reason why I was called here in this time to help you with. I want to serve women because that turning point, those breakthroughs, those understandings, those changes can help you modify your life to the point that you really can thrive. And why that is my goal? Because the future of our kids, the future of these planets is in us. And a woman can manifest like nobody before. You can bring life on the planet. Isn't that amazing? You can birth. You can hold a child. You can breastfeed. You can do so much. And don't get me wrong, I love men too. They help us greatly. But as a woman, I feel much more entitled to help other women to do so and to thrive. And by doing so, the life of your kids, the life of your husband, the life of your job, the life of your friends will shift because you have such a big energy around you that you can shift one thing after another. And not only you're gonna have beautiful life, which I dream for you, I want to meet you on holiday and have fun with you, but I also want you to be able to change with me. Everything that's on the planet is not working for everybody. There are resources on this planet that can feed everyone. There are money that can be shared with everyone. There is no reason why there are wars out there still. There is no reason why there is famine still. There is no reason why we can't heal physical manifestation of these ease with energy. And I do appreciate everything that is going on around here. But we are at the point where we can move forward. And that's why I'm here. So I'm here to start to shift the safety protocol into a safety protocol, which is what your subconscious is supposed to do. It is your safety protocol. It's very important. But it doesn't have to be a cage. You don't have to be in a glass bell to be safe. You can go, thrive, do your things, and have a safety protocol in place, of course. Fear is important because it can help us navigate. You wouldn't go on a boat without a safety jacket there somewhere. right? And that's perfectly fine. But that safety jacket shouldn't be keeping you on Earth without having you to go on the sea, right? So when I work with you, I'm gonna work on the body, on the mind, and on an energy level. And you can work with me through the many classes that I have that I am teaching. One is the Inner Peace Reboot, which is coming up next week. For a week is gonna be for free, and then it's gonna be pre-recorded and go for the right worth, because it's gonna be 3 days plus a bonus, full of tools and shifting and activation. So that's a one-off super mega offer. And then if you want to go deeper, I highly recommend you to book a one-on-one session with me. And together we can tailor 8 weeks programs to be able to unlock everything. I do one-on-one session, one only for healing, for deep healing cleansing. But to go really beyond, we need more time, we need more space, and I need to know you better. Anyhow, whatever is your preferred way to work with me, if you want to do so, please reach out. I'm here for you, and I am so looking forward to share all I've learned in this period with you. Bye.